There we go.
Oh, he's got it. He beat me.
We're so loud. Sorry about that. There we go. Yeah, that's good levels. Yeah, sorry about that. Sound acquired. We're in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I have a friend. You may recognise them. Fans of the series may recognise Django.
Long time ago.
It's been a while, hasn't it, Django?
Yeah,
why is that? Tell
very
everybody.
long.
It's because you didn't want to come and say hello.
Exactly. I think this room, it's so small.
Oh, it's
so warm. It's
so
difficult.
So Django's just got back from LA. I don't think it was quite as hot in LA as it is in this room.
No. And it's much more windy, turns out.
Oh.
It's very different. No, it's great.
So those that don't know, Django is a programmer or a coder or what? Just a general person that does magic, makes things happen in TerraTech. And yeah, so welcome to Django.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been here. Obviously, I worked here before, and I did some different work in the meantime, and I missed you guys. Yeah. So thought I'd come back, do some cool work.
Yeah, man. So Django's been working with Beltane. We saw Beltane a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Working. He looks like a programmer that left. I forgot his name. He looks like Django, who left and then came back. That's the same. That's the same coder. That's him. Yes, so that's what happened, and we're back. Django's back, and he's working with Beltane to add all of the cool stuff that you currently see in TerraTech, and all the cool stuff that we talked about. So you're not going to be here. Django's not going to be here for the whole stream. Just to sort of do a quick introduction, say hello, and then we're going to get into the regular scheduled programming, which is up there, Community Core. And we're going to showcase some of the lovely techs that everybody's been making. So let's talk about. Like quantum mechanics. How do you feel about that?
It's a bit outside my field, I think.
Oh.
How are your quantum mechanics?
I mean,
Yeah.
scratchy? No, not
Rusty.
great. Rusty, that level. Yeah. Rusty's also scratchy. No, yeah, so Django, let's talk about the resource radar.
Oh.
Sorry, no, right. Just
No,
a silly
that's that.
thing. So I'm going to load into the game. Right, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. We were talking about
So what
everything.
did we catch? Yeah.
Let's start again.
Yes.
So, Django, where are we up to with the resource radar, and what are we doing next with the resource radar? So you gave a good backstory to what's going on with the resource radar.
So the resource radar, it was showed on the stream a couple of weeks ago, and it's one of those blocks that, well, maybe the only one that we started developing, lost focus of it, weren't quite sure where we wanted to go with it. And then it stayed that for a really long time. So when we were looking at what things made sense to work on, it was one of the things that was highly suggested, and also internally we went through the blocks and we saw that, hey, we have this cool block that we're actually not doing anything with. So now we're trying to get it into the game, and there are definitely some questions there. The main one is the main question, I think, is how do you display all of that information without cluttering up the minimap much more? Because that's always been a problem. The mini-maps are small, we have all these tech running around, and especially when you're driving through woodlands and you search for the wood resource, it's just everywhere, right? So that's something that we're trying to explore. We've got quite a good idea, just really small icons, clustering them together with how, when there are many resources very close together, we just display one icon. So that resolves a lot of the initial problems. As some of the more technical people might be aware, it's somewhat complicated to gather information about what's in the distance in TerraTech. So that's always been a problem, and for now we're hoping to restrict the distance a little bit on the resource radar. And that makes it work quite nicely, actually. We've been driving around with it, trying to find certain resources, the ones that you always miss out on the salt flats. And you have to drive up to every single rock just to check if there's a seam in there. Now it's just a matter of popping it on and you can see it. There's a question from Sharmoni. Will it also double as a regular radar? That's one of the things that we're prototyping. So the current way the radars work is everything is a normal radar and then a resource radar on top. We're trying out how it feels just having it as a resource radar, and how that compares to having it as two separate radars on your tech that kind of complement each other. So that's not set in stone, but we're aware of those questions. Having a look at the other questions. A biome radar for longer range exploration, says Fichom.
That's interesting, right? Because biome radar was the logical progression from the resource radar.
Yep, that might have come up in our last meeting about it. So who knows?
I know.
I'm not saying no.
You know. To answer your own question, you know. Do you know? I don't know.
We left it open.
We did it open. So that feels better.
Yeah, it's a potential future thing. Kind of depends on how the resource radar ends up feeling. Because they might just double up, right? Because usually the resources are specific to a biome and you can infer one from the other and vice versa. So they might be the same.
So, I don't actually remember where we landed with, are we going to try and prototype adding a resource node or a resource chunk to the resource radar? Is that something is that like the final decision yet, or are we just prototyping it still?
We're still prototyping, but that's definitely the main thought.
Yeah.
So it would work a bit like how you can train the filter by dragging a resource onto it, and then it might consume it, it might just sit there. That's the part where we're not so sure about it.
There's going to be, there may be like cooldowns on it, and you know, all this cool stuff. Sorry,
exactly. No, I was wondering what tech you're driving there.
So, nice segue. It's like you've done this before. So this first one, this is the first tech from Attack Tacos. They are also in Twitch chat. And it's just a really nifty kind of plane. What's the name? It's called Plane Stupid 4. That's the name of the plane.
That's creative.
It's got, what has it got? It's got your wings in the middle. A lot of linear motion engines. Yeah, you've got adjustment thrusters, batteries. I suppose these batteries.
That's the shield.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then obviously
lasers at the front. Oh, that's the shield.
We could charge this up and see what. No, we could. But I'm not going to because it takes forever. But yeah, no, it handles really well actually. I mean, it's a bit awkward to get off the ground, and the control scheme I think is different from what Attack Taco mentioned. Yeah, really fun tech. I like it. There's a bit of weaponry on there as well. So yeah, that's everything. That's what Django's
Did we miss any questions?
I'm sure we usually do.
Should
we scroll back up? Matthew Duthridge on Facebook. So we actually streamed to Facebook now. Nice. For co-op, is there a chance to make a weapon to shoot a repair or shield bubble projectile at an ally instead of just transferring power between techs? That is a good idea.
That's kind of cool.
That kind of sounds like an idea that should go in our suggestions channel on Discord.
That is cool.
But sorry, let's just talk about the suggestions channel on Discord, because I know we talk about it a lot, but I'm so proud of it. So there's those that don't know, we have a Discord server, and in that server we have a brand new channel where you can suggest your ideas, your TerraTech ideas. Other people can then vote on those ideas, and then we take the top ideas from that channel and we discuss them and see how feasible they will be to implement TerraTech. So we've just had the first round of suggestions that we've sort of triaged. It's just a posh way of saying we've had a chat about them. Yeah, we've looked at them in the chat. Let me pull up that list. And we talked about this last week, or however long ago it was. Let me. That's the doc. I'm looking for the list that we triaged. Which channel? But we talked about this a little bit last week, but we're having Django here, I think. Here we go, yeah. So there was 8 suggestions that we sort of took away from that channel, and we'll just rattle through them. It's good having Django here, because Django was the mastermind behind all of the, and all these sort of action points and all this sort of stuff, so things that we can take away from it. So the first up is the Blockpedia, sort of an expanded Blockpedia, so we can get
more information about
more
what's with it, like wheel movement power, weapon sort of damage stats. We have a little bit to think about how that would look, because DPS isn't the best statistic, for instance. And the same with the wheels, they don't have a miles per hour maximum speed. They have a certain sort of speed value and torque, and depending on how heavy your tech is, all those actual values change. But hopefully we can give you guys a little bit more information.
Yep. So that's one of the things. There's literally 8 different things on that list that were taken from that channel. So if you have ideas, if you have suggestions, that kind of all that good stuff for TerraTech, head over to our Discord. I'm going to share. Excuse me. I've got hiccups.
I know.
We're going to share. Don't even know Discord open.
I know.
We're going to share a link in chat, just to our Discord server, where you can join and you can add your suggestions. Because we want to hear them, because this is for us as developers and as producers and community managers. Like, having that channel is just it's a godsend. Just so we can so easily just take a glance and say, oh, this is what people want. This is how many people wanted it. It's destroy the turret. So if you actually talk quickly, just changing the subject to Dino's 04 tech. So this is the Scorpion, which is a mid to large size, high class heavy brawler that focuses on sustaining maximum damage whilst pumping out as many shells as possible. Yeah, so this thing is not going to have a huge trouble with any of the turret aim, because these missiles,
those guns.
Yeah, the missiles are pretty epic.
Well, a pretty big tank.
It's massive. It's a big boy. I mean, these. Anyway, so so that's basically the sort of along with the radar, resource radar. You've also been working on an upgrade to Unity as well. So I don't know if you want to sort of quickly talk about what that means for our players. It probably doesn't mean much, but
I mean, it doesn't mean that much, because hopefully nothing changes. But sadly, there are always bugs that brings. So we're trying to fix those. Basically, what it means is we're running on a newer version of Unity, so it should all be a little bit faster, a bit nicer, and we'll have more options to make nice things in the future.
So what it means is, face value doesn't mean much for the players at the minute. I mean, when you say it'll make things run faster, do you mean just running Unity will run faster, or the game will run faster?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
That's the theory behind it.
It's not even taking a drop off. That's
not even
crazy. This thing could just go down the entire.
The shields are still full.
Yeah, everything's just that's so silly. This is cool. I like this tech a lot. So yeah, Dino's 04. But
yeah, get your suggestions at least in the Discord channel. Keep it to 1 per post. So just put multiple lines if you want multiple. It just helps us look at each individual point and then triage them.
Triage. I love that's my favourite. So we were talking about something more interesting. Not more interesting. We
Community upgrade?
Yeah, that was
That wasn't that interesting.
No, you're right. Actually, no, it wasn't. Actually, that's the least interesting.
Actually, it feels a bit slower, so... Not the game, but the editor feels a little bit slower.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm sure certain bits are faster, and other bits are not.
Yeah. So, but what it does mean is at face value, not a huge amount of new features and stuff for the actual game, but it does allow us to do cooler stuff further down the line in the future. So, I mean, this is completely like ballpark, but what new stuff does the new Unity implement that would, what kind of cool stuff does it open us up to? Like, what are the features that Unity is?
So one of the things we're looking at is improving the post-processing a little bit, and for the PC, so what that means is the way the game looks with like the bright background sort of popping out, and how we maybe sometimes have ripple effects and little color grading to make the colors look better. Yeah, exactly. Those types of things. They've improved that and also improved it in terms of how fast it runs. And on PC, you probably, you don't want to do that.
That is obnoxious.
On PC, it won't make a huge difference, but we're hoping that, especially on the consoles, it will allow us to run a little bit higher quality, because they don't have that much power, and you end up noticing the difference a lot more.
So again, take everything that we're saying with a heavy pinch of salt or grain of salt, because
yeah, all of this is in theory.
In theory, yeah,
right?
there's definitely no guarantee.
Unity are always making their engine better in theory, but it depends on how that applies to our particular game.
The funny thing is, I don't even think we're on the latest version of Unity either. We're just on a more recent version than we were on.
But that's actually what you often do when you have a live game, because if you're on the latest version, there are going to be issues, and you're going to regret it basically. So we're a little bit behind the latest version. We know that it's stable. We're quite confident in it being okay, and then we have to make sure that it's also okay with TerraTech.
Cool. Right, Django, I think you're free to go now. I actually want to stay.
And we might try and get a little bit more work in. It was really cool to be here. Talk with you guys a little bit on stream. And yeah, some really cool text actually. Look at this guy.
Yeah, this is mental. So Virtue loves to.
That's so good.
Yeah, this is nice. So it uses a really cool mod skin.
I was gonna say, what skin is this?
Mods.
Yeah, mods.
Always mods. If you do something you're like, that doesn't look right. Yeah, so this is really fun. So I'm going to show this off. I'm going to talk a bit about this.
Cool.
Everyone say thanks to Django.
Take care, bye.
Right, we're going to have to break the illusion. We can move it.
There we go. Nobody saw that.
It's fine. Actually, do you want to...
I think this chair.
Yeah, really don't touch that cable because it wants to go offline.
Do you want me to take this?
If it'll go... We're still online? We're still online. We're fine. We're good. Beautiful. Oh, amazing. Django, the best.
There you go.
Cheers, dude. Well, yeah, no problem. Well, that was fun. Right, so it's just me now. I'm back to being on my own. And that means we can talk about all of these lovely... I look ill. I look green and ill on our stream. I'm actually going to switch myself back over here so I'm going to have my playlist. Let's put me next to the mini-map. Okay, cool. So yeah, thanks to Django. I think all the points he's raised were very useful, and I'm glad that we had him on the stream. Next up on, so let's just recap. We've already had Attack Tacos, which was a plane. We've had Dinos 04, which was that awesome land cruiser tank thing, which was wicked. And now on to Virtue. So this is the, what is this? It is a tank. It's a tank with a sombrero. It looks lovely. It's got a little bubble butt at the back. It uses the Darklight skin, which is the Darklight skin, which you all know and love. Virtue in Twitch chat says the sombrero really pulls it together. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Virtue, this is wicked. Alright, cool. So let's take a look. What does this thing do? Let's see where I can. I'm going to take this to the We are at, oh, we're at nice. It's almost like Virtue knew what I was going to do. So let's charge her up from the charging base, and let's ride her into the arena. Let's ride her into battle and see what we can. So what have we got? So let's before I go on the show, we have railguns, we have miniguns, we have cannons. We have some shotguns at the front, and some adjustment thrusters to add a bit of. Oh, nice! I love the little additional adjustment thrust at the back to give you some just a little bit more agility. I love that a lot. Right, so let's take a look. 3, 2, 1. Okay, this should go down quite easily. Oh, you think you're into it? You think you're up for it? Do you? Nah. There's a missile. There's a missile pod. I missed the missile silos at the back as well. Well, it's drained the batteries, so I feel like we need to recharge before we take on anything else. So let's just head back and get some more juice. Yeah, so I hope that you having Django in here, sort of you learn some stuff. You learn about what we're doing with TerraTech. I made it. Someone Rafs I think mentioned on our Discord server that we don't really do like roadmaps or anything like that, and I think as kind of community managers and comms and sort of announcing stuff, roadmaps are really a tricky thing. I'll be honest, we don't necessarily like doing roadmaps because for the main fact that it sometimes sets unreal expectations and unrealistic sort of precedents, and that's why you can have like short-term, medium, and long-term. But even then, that's likely to change. So what I've been trying to do the last however long I've been streaming for, I mean, how long I've been, well, at least since lockdown, so 2 years almost. Goodness me, 2 years. I've been trying to just add, with the weekly stream, is just give you sort of little snippets, little updates as to what's going on. Hopefully that then propagates through into the community as sort of like the official word on what we're working on. So I hope that having Django here sort of offered some insight as to what we're working on, and it's not just we're not just making it up as we go, which is still true. I mean, everybody in the whole world makes up as they go along, right? That's the definition of learning, in my opinion. But yeah, so like I say, Resource Radar is on the go. The Unity update is a thing, and all the sort of features and the list of 8 different things that we've had from the suggestions channel. So yeah. Let me read some. So Facebook, Matthew Dwethridge. Would be fun if there was lightning storm weather effects. In turn, we could use lightning rods to charge batteries. Again, that would be a lot of fun. Let's put that in the. If you're not already, Matthew, head over to our Discord channel and put your suggestions in our Discord channel because these are all very good ideas. I'm going to just run this through the thing one more time. We're going to try protect because it's half past. I think we're about halfway through the text now. That's good. And those miniguns are doing a lot of work. Let's get her in range of the shotguns. Let's finish on. Boosh. Right, easy. Okay, so that was more easy. That was a slightly more comfortable bit of combat. Oh, okay. Well, nice knowing you, buddy. Virtue, man, this is awesome. I'm digging it. Jolo, you were next. So Jolo, if you're watching, I couldn't get your tech to work. So let me restart the R&D labs. Shout out to Virtue for their submission. So how do you feel about having gigantic craft sent in? I mean, absolutely huge ones. Right, so the problem that we will always have with big enemy techs is the drain that's going to have on the PC. So we've seen it with, we can just load any big tech in. I don't actually have any big tech, so maybe this one's big enough. Yeah, this is quite big. You can see my computer's already slowed down to snail's pace. Why should I say that? This is quite big, and this isn't even as big as they come. So imagine having an enemy like this to spawn in, right? This thing then splinters off into different techs. That's a lot of things for your computer to think about. It's a lot of calculations for it to make, and that's what causes performance issues. I realise I'm you know, probably telling you stuff that you already know and being very obvious. But the bigger the tech, the worse performance you're going to get out of the game. And while you know you like big explosive things, sometimes smaller is generally better, especially with TerraTech. What we can do, and what we try to do with missions like the arena mission, the reticle research arena mission, is it reticle research? One of the missions where you've just got to, it's like a battle arena and you've got to basically kill everything that's in there. It's got a 0 point. Can someone remind me what mission that is? Yeah, that's kind of the way we wanted to go with bosses, is to not make them necessarily big and just like hard by being big, but just making them hard by having them, letting them have loads of different features, loads of different weapons, loads of different guns on them. But thanks for the suggestion. I'm going to try and load it. I don't think it's going to work, but let me try. No, okay, right. So Jolos is missing some mods, some blocks, which I think are modded blocks. I'm not quite sure why that's not working. But thanks for the submission, Jolo. Hopefully we can try and get that working next week. Right, next up is Darwin. So before I show you what this is, I'm just going to read what Darwin has said. So Darwin, for those that don't know, is a modder. They've made some amazing mods for TerraTech that feature their own custom, like sort of branch of Hawkeye, which is the Nova Corp. And they've added loads of like ridiculous weapons. You'll see in a second how ridiculous they are. But for this one, we have a heavy railgun armed with flechette warhead. Each shot will burst into 100 small metal darts, capable of shredding armor into pieces. So let's just go full screen with this. Can I pause? I can pause a GIF. Right. So this is just a GIF. This is a full screen GIF I'm going to show you. I did it again, but we're back. Sorry about that. Yeah, my OBS is playing up. Sorry about that. I was just saying this is just a really big railgun, and Darwin has done it again. So, as you can tell by the animation, what it was doing is it's shooting out a projectile that then explodes into bigger projectiles on its way through at a certain distance. So at close range, you get these little sort of micro explosions, and then the further away you get, it just effectively gets bigger, which is crazy things, crazy talking. So that's 54 seconds. That's this gun. So let me read to you what this says. So it's a heavy railgun sword armed with a flechette warhead. Flechette warhead. Each shot will burst into 100 small metal darts capable of shredding armor into pieces. So you saw that. So it's a big railgun. It shoots a projectile, then splinters into loads of different darts. Very cool, very fun, very nice. Yeah, it was a railgun. It was a railgun. It's not official. So let me reiterate, if that's the word. That was a mod by a modder called Darwin or Darwinstein. They have one of the more prominent modders. They do some just crazy stuff. That's really cool. Next up is Ninja with the Alphalia. So let's load this in. It's this one. So let's sort this out. So this is the Alphalia. It's a modified Hephaestus class destroyer armed with various weaponry that can destroy any enemy it comes across. Well, let's put that to the test. Do I need to charge up? I'm thinking there's probably going to be some anti-grav stuff. But yeah, Black Man, this is a ninja tech. let's get this thing charged up. God, it's getting so hot in here. Okay, so there's one tech left after this, and we're done. Power up to the yes, please. Beautiful, right. Now I can't see any oh, there is anti-grav. Okay, cool. So let's take a look. So there's a load of cannons, there's some railguns, there's some missiles. Basically all of the things that do all of the damage, this thing has it. Oh, it's quite nice, quite agile, it's quite light. Uh-oh, there is a problem though. I'm not very good at piloting these things, and this thing is not your conventional control scheme. Persevere. So what can I do with this thing? We've already done the turret run, we've done... Well, let's do some DPS. Let's see how much damage this thing puts out. Let's head over to the testing apparatus. Last man says, I have an idea, why not shoot the scorpion with it? We could do that, or we could just take it to the DPS meter and see what this thing does. Oh, do you know what, this is quite... I'm going to let this thing stretch its legs in a minute. I just wanted to show everybody... How much is that? 51,000 at its peak? Yeah, 54 at its peak. 54,000 damage per second. That's an insane amount of damage. And it's got it from all sides as well. That's not just head-on. This thing has got damage on all sides. So you've got missiles coming out of there. You also have railguns that I see poking out here. No, although there are missiles that point out there. There's miniguns on the side, so they're going to be able to swivel around. There's a few missiles on the bottom. This thing is built to do damage, and I love it. Let's give it some juice. Is this thing gonna... Okay. Here. Why I've already pitched. What's the pitch? EQ. EQ for pitch. Oh, that makes sense. Does it make sense? I'm not sure if I like having E and Q as pitch. Anyway, this once you get your hang around the control schemes, this thing kind of makes sense. And then we can do a lovely little loop the loop. Not loop the loop, you know what I mean. Whoa! Oh, okay, we're gonna crash, we're gonna crash, we're gonna... Nope, we're fine. We are fine. Ooh, yes! Beautiful, look at that! Oh, nice. Right, so that was from Ninja. So this is one of Ninja. So once you get your head around the control scheme, this thing is awesome. Double thumbs up. Good stuff, Ninja. Right, the last tech that we have to showcase this week is by Sebi. So shout out to Sebi, you are in chat. I'm going to just return to the teleporter. I'm going to load this in. Now, for those that watched the stream when I was trying, and I say trying, to create a flying geocorp plane using the new geocorp flight blocks, this just puts that to absolute shame. This is an absolutely amazing bit of engineering from Sebi, and it's incredible. Look at that, no problems, take off, look at that landing gear, just tuck itself away nicely. We can yaw, we can pitch, we can turn, granted quite slowly. If we turn those engines off, nice. It looks, this is what I want a geocorp plane to look like. and it controls exactly how I would want a geocorp plane to control. Absolutely brilliant. So let's just take a closer look. Let's. I don't know with any of the other text yet. Going into build photo mode. I just wanted to showcase exactly what this thing is doing. So let's land it gracefully with build beam. Thank you very much, build beam. Go to photo mode. So just a whole load of. Oh, it's not just geocorp blocks. There's some Hawkeye boys, but I suppose you need that for the slope, the angle blocks, so you can make it a little bit more aerodynamic. But there's some Hawkeye blocks that have got the geocorp skin on them. Shout out to the Crosscorp skin for facilitating that. You've got propellers, you've got jet engines, you've got what are these things? You've got other things. Oh, they're just armor blocks or lightweight blocks, I think. Anything in the fuselage? Let's take a look. More jet engines. Oh, cheeky, cheeky. A few little jelly engine-y bits in there. And then tail wings. It just looks amazing. Again, those that watch the stream a lot know that I like things that are a bit weird and a bit different, and this is exactly that. Geocorp was never meant to be to have flight capabilities. They're like the ostrich. No, that's not a good example. They're like the chicken of the corporation world. They were never meant to fly, but they've made it work. I love it. So basically, Geocorp are flying chickens. That's what I'm trying to say. If you see a chicken that's flying, Geocorp. Got it? And this is awesome. Right, I think that's everything. Probably going to end the stream slightly early because I'm melting. I'm melting in here. I'm so hot, I'm so sway. Not that you needed to know that or anybody asked, but I'm gonna end the stream. That's all the text for today. So shout out to Sebi, Ninja, Darwin, and Jolo, even though Jolo we couldn't show yours. There to Dinos04 and Attack Taco. Thank you for your submissions. Thank you for being a part of the TerraTech community. We appreciate you. Yeah, I'm in 1080. I'm in HD now. I figured out how to change the settings on my camera in OBS, so you can see me in full HD, 1080. You're welcome. And that's going to do it there. Remember my suggestions. I don't use Discord. I will try and remember your suggestions, Matthew. Don't fret. I will add them to our list myself. So he says, guess I'll be submitting my AG4CA for next week. A day. So next week we might do a new stuff stream. That's where we just showcase some of the new stuff that's coming to TerraTech. There's some new blocks. We didn't even talk about these. There's some new Hawkeye blocks for building forts or like structures with them. So there's some sort of structure blocks going into Hawkeye. So we'll probably show those off next week. Just keep your eyes peeled for that. Until then, thank you ever so much for stopping by. Thanks to Django for being awesome. Thanks to everyone for being fun and keeping me company in my hot box. Tune in next week. We're going to be showcasing some new stuff, and yeah, we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you later. Bye.